For over a decade now, the Cornell University of Assyriology and Sumerology have been putting out these really nice big red volumes, which are compilations of cuneiform tablets with full transcription, translation, literation, the whole thing. It's absolutely fascinating. So this is volume 18, so quite an old one. I've also bought the very latest one in the collection, which would be volume 38, which is the literary source on old Babylonian religion. I'll do a review on that very soon. And then this one also, volume 32, you can expect a review on this one, the Mesopotamian incantations, which is really, really nice. But this one is the one that we're reviewing today, and this very strange looking symbol on the front really caught my attention, and I thought that it was one of those, it was certainly reminiscent to me of one of those Celtic or Anglo-Saxon labyrinths, which don't really have choices. It's not really a puzzle as much as it is an object of focus for meditation. But no, not at all. I was quite surprised to find out what it in fact is. I'll show you what it is in a few moments. First of all, let me open the book up and show you what you get inside. So here's a table of contents. It's definitely an academic work. There's no question about it. This has been written by someone with a very academic mind and the focus of a professor. It's incredible how well researched this is. There are pages and pages and pages of references in the back. I just gave you a little preview there of what you get in the appendices. So in the appendices you get the photographs of 37 of the 55 tablets that are mentioned in here. So 37 of them, they managed to get photographs of them and then transcriptions of them like this, so that if you know your cuneiform, you can actually quite easily read that. That's not me, but it might be you. I don't know. And then... so some of them are much larger than others, right? You can see that, it's huge tablets and a huge amount of work as well, right? So you have the obverse, the edge, the reverse, the other edge, and then the top and the bottom, or maybe the top and the bottom of this particular one. And then if you go into the text itself, then you get the transliteration, right? So what it would sound like with the Latin alphabet, and then a translation of what it was actually talking about. But not only that, you then also get the notes. Right, so for every little section, there's a full analysis of the language, analysis also of what it might have meant, because some of the language is a little bit cryptic, and A.R. George clearly knows what he or she, I'm afraid I don't know A.R. George's first name, was actually writing about. So it's very, very interesting. There we are. Okay, so the topics. Let me get to the actual catalogue. So the catalogue shows you all 55 of the contained tablets. Now, why are there 55 but only 37 in the appendix? Well, that's because a lot of these no longer, I was going to say no longer exist. I'm sure they probably do exist, but we just don't know where they are. An author called, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find his name. Anyway, from the late 19th century, was transcribing these tablets, which the A.R. George has been able to get access to the manuscripts that this 19th century author was able to transcribe. and worked from there. So that's why they're not. We don't have photographs of them, unfortunately. They've probably gone into private collections and are no longer available. In fact, this is there's a mention in the very opening page from the editor saying that many people are very upset that anyone would even mention documents, texts, tablets that don't have their original excavated context, right? But he says that, well, if we can make the information available, surely we should do, right? Then there's a really very long list of abbreviations, which has been very helpful for me. In fact, I didn't realize how helpful it would be until I got quite stuck into the text. Quite a few abbreviations there. As I say, it's quite an academic style of text, but it's so well documented, so informative. I really enjoyed this part where he talks about the two different styles of divination. So the first style would be where the observer is just looking at the world around them, not touching the world, but just reading the signs that are right there in front of him or her. And then the second sign where there is a preparation, right? Possibly a sacrifice. And in fact, a lot of these texts are to do with sacrifices. So extispicy is a word that I learnt through this book, and that's the art of reading the entrails of a dead animal, right? So possibly a sacrificial animal. So this is the catalogue of the 55 tablets. First of all, we get a couple of divination prayers, petitions, then several texts on extispicy. So I beg your pardon, these are reports on extispicy. So I opened a lamb today and I found that the heart was like this, which means that the king's going to do that, and so on and so forth, right? And then liver omens, several liver omens, the gallbladder and various other parts. What else we have? Malformed birth omens. Yeah, so if the eye is too far towards the ear, what does it mean for the coming wars and things like this? All kind of crazy stuff. Lunar eclipse omens, diagnostic and prognostic omens. So once again, if you see A in your patient, then it means B, right? So if someone has got flat veins, then it means that they're possessed by this demon or whatever else, right? So then you've got domestic omens, fascinating, very large text there about domestic omens. What happens if your dog barks at whatever time in the morning and things like this. And you got liver omens, bird's heart omens, malformed birth omens, lots of those omens, carcass of sacrificial animals, liver omens, lung omens, malformed birth, omen apodoses, I'm afraid I don't know what that means, gut omens, diagrams of gut, liver. So when I said earlier on that I was going to tell you what this is, yeah, it's basically a gut. It's a lamb's intestines, and it's right in the back over here. I'll find it for you in a moment. Okay. What else do we have? Diagrams of a gut, liver, lunar eclipse omens, human birth omens, augury. So that's reading the signs of birds. So. Two falcons and a crow, what does it mean? What does it mean if a falcon flies behind a king and things like this? Diagrams of guts, more of those, drawings of spiral labyrinth. So there are some, but unfortunately not in the remaining texts. who knows? Was it actually a spiral labyrinth? Hard to say without having the actual original document, right? Drawing a spiral labyrinth, 8 drawings of labyrinths, a model of a liver, and a list of deformed sheep. Interesting. So yeah, let me just show you that that very final. Here it is. So what they would do was that they would lay the guts, right, the intestines out flat, and then they would draw a straight line through it, and if they came across an even number of parts then it was a good sign, and if there was an uneven number, then it was a bad sign. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that was a good sign, right? So even just having this tablet with this good sign on it would be like a talisman, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's a very good omen tablet right there. I mean, I say that it would have been like a talisman. It's an assumption, but of course we can only make assumptions, right, based on these things. More or less educated ones. So there we go. The notes on every part are so complete, fascinating, well written, engaging. There are. It does assume that you're going to read in sequence, right? It's a little bit difficult to just dip in. However, if you can take the time to read those notes in sequence, then it builds on the assumption that you don't know very much. Okay, at the very beginning it explains a lot, and then it relies on that explanation that it gives you at the beginning. It doesn't re-explain it later on in the book, but you can very easily just read the omens themselves. You know, the translations of the tablets themselves. It's all very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So sometimes they're very small. For example, at the beginning there are some prayers, in which case they don't really lay them out in 2 columns like that. They just give you the transliteration of the prayer followed by the translation of the prayer. But with larger texts like this, it's all in double columns, and each text has got a number assigned, so it gives you the number of the text, and then it gives you the number of the tablet, so that you can find it online. In fact, there is a website where you can find all of these tablets. I'll see if I can maybe find a link to put in the description for you guys, and then the number of the manuscript. There we go. It's very complete, very interesting. Sometimes a little sad, you know. I mean, to see some of the malformations and so on that from animal births, but also from human births, and you know, the meanings that they would get from that. It's all kind of certainly an insight into that society and those times, right? There we are. So those are my thoughts on this really very, very lovely book, and I'm very, very grateful to A.R. George for all the work that's been put into this. It's an extraordinary document, and one that I'm sure many people will be very grateful to find. So that's it for my review from today, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe down below if you enjoyed the review. I'll be reviewing these in the reasonably near future. It's unlikely to be the very next books that I review, but it'll come in due course. So thanks very much for watching once again, and see you very soon. Bye bye.